controversial one, guys. If a client says they don't like their haircut or color, what is the protocol? Maybe you've been in this situation. So here's one scenario. The client says they are not happy with the color. The stylist says, oh, it's fine. You gotta wait till the end. You're gonna see at the end. But at the end, the client still doesn't like it. Do you honor a refund? Do you fix it immediately? How does it all go down? We're gonna discuss it now with our hairstylist on the panel. Grace, let's start with you. So what happens when someone says to you, I don't really like what you've done?
Well, I think it's you know, the most important thing that I do is I always sit down and do a consult before, so that we know where the color is going, we know where the cut's going, so there's no surprises.
Yeah.
But if she somehow changes her mind and says, it's too light for me, I'm not comfortable at being this light or this dark,
yeah,
that's fixable, right? It's fixable, of course. Or they say, could you go a little bit shorter on my hair? You know, all of that's fixable. If she goes home and she says, I'm looking at it, but you know, my husband thinks it's, you know, this or that, or she's listening to other people.
Yeah.
Come back in. Come back in.
So you're totally good with that,
yes,
and you will eat the cost of that?
Yes.
Always?
Always, because it's like, you know, people are doing it like $3 or $4. You know, can we change it this week back to red or blonde or whatever?
Yeah.
Now that's a little crazy.
Yeah.
But like, you know, for someone who says, could we darken it a little bit? Could we lighten it a little bit? It's no problem. It just takes an extra few minutes because it doesn't.
What would you consider to be unreasonable? Like if I come in with a picture of Beyonce, I say, make me her, and then you're like, okay, I will try, but you're not Beyonce. And then you start doing it, and at the end I'm like, I'm not Beyonce, I want my money back. Are you still okay with that?
Well, you know, I've had this scenario where that's happened.
It could happen.
Well, this woman came in and she wanted to look like Halle Berry, and she said, and I said, but if I cut your hair shorter, it's going to look like an afro. And she's like, no, it's not, because when my hair goes shorter, it lays flatter. And I'm like, it won't. We consulted, it was like an hour consultation on what's going to happen. Yeah. We did it, turned into an afro.
And so then what do you do?
Smooth it out, flat iron it, or whatever? There's nothing she could do because she insisted for an hour.
Okay, so in that case, you're not going to
No.
Okay. Palma, what do you think?
Well, I think you're absolutely correct. But then there are extremes.
Okay.
And I think there's a lot of times where it's not just a haircut. There's more to it when a client sits in our chair.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I think we need to pay attention to who it is. If it's a brand new client, I wouldn't recommend as a hairstylist to do something extreme on them. Do you guys feel me there?
Totally.
But if it's somebody that's been in your chair plenty of times and they come in and they want something so extreme, what's going on in their lives?
Right.
If somebody broke up and they're unhappy and they color my hair black and they were platinum blonde, I have to understand as a stylist, don't do it. You're acting irrational. And I think that will save everybody a headache. And I'd be willing to lose a client.
Really?
Yes. If I see that person in the mall, I'd be able to say hello to them because I know I did something right for them. They didn't know that.
Okay, so you would actually stop them from doing something extreme because maybe something is going on in their life.
Yeah,
but if someone came in and they didn't like the cut or the color that you gave them, you would give them their money back and you would do it again.
I agree with her. Yeah.
Would you do it immediately though? Let's say you've been sitting in that chair. How long does it take to color your hair? It takes a long time, right? You were sitting there for hours. So maybe you were sitting there for 2 hours, you got to the end of it, you didn't like it, and then you're like, switch it now. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely
or are you
not.
now taking your next client and ruining their appointment?
I think the psychology here is really important. There's two kind of things going on here. One is sometimes you get into a really juicy conversation while you're coloring somebody's hair, and maybe you do make a little mistake. Right?
It happens.
Well, because these conversations get pretty good, right?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so, you know, well, I'm just saying. So in a situation like that, obviously we would say, hey, dude, sorry. You know, obviously I'll fix it, right? Yeah. But when we consult with somebody, make a decision on the color.
Yeah.
We know professionally, I mean, hair color is very difficult. Yeah. Very difficult. It takes years to get good at doing color. So we recognize when it's done properly. And if our consultation was good, then everybody should be on the same page. If that client calls me back and says, listen, I'm just not happy, then absolutely, I will write you a check right now, and that's cool.
Right.
But, you know, within reason. You know, if there's something that she says, well, I think this part went wrong, okay, fine, come on back in, we'll talk about it again. But you have to recognize, I'm not going to keep coloring this woman's hair for free just because she's, you know, not happy.
Indecisive.
Or indecisive.
Indecisive. Is there a certain point within the appointment that you want them to sort of voice their concerns, and would you listen?
Well, with color, you can't really voice anything till it's over.
What about a cut?
Yeah. Well,
Like halfway through, they're like, "Oh my God, you took off too much."
nothing worse than a hair cutter who's lost his gumption in the middle of the haircut.
I always ask, where is it comfortable for you for your hair to sit?
Yeah.
Where is it comfortable? And then once they say where it's comfortable, like
Yeah.
even my model I'm working on right now, that's what we did. Where is it comfortable for you?
And don't go beyond it.
And don't go beyond that.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff, guys. Thank you for that.